Hello my YouTube family, welcome back to my channel. It's Cassandra here, and if you're new, I post videos all on beauty and lifestyle, just about anything that tickles my fancy, and a lot of skincare these days. So if that interests you, don't forget to click the subscription button and also turn your notification bell on just to be up to date on everything that I post. Now, I've actually tried to film this video. I filmed this video before and I decided I'm going to refilm it because I didn't necessarily like how it came out, and I felt like a lot of stuff I wanted to say didn't really say. So this is gonna be my anti-haul for this season, I guess for this month, and I think I'm gonna start doing these videos like every 2 weeks because there's so many new releases out, and I feel like brands are just trying to get our money basically, and a lot of times I feel like they're not putting in a lot of effort into a lot of the stuff that they're releasing. But some of the stuff are actually really good, and I'm kind of at that moment in my life where I have so much makeup that I really don't need anymore. So anything that I do buy has to be very special, and it has to be something that I am going to be using a lot of. But before I get into the video, I wanted to share with you guys my new favorite bottle of wine, or sprinkler, or sparkler, whatever you're gonna call it. And it's called Stella Rosa. And this is the Stella Peach. They do have a Stella Berry, I believe, but the Stella Peach is my favorite. And this is actually only like $8 or $10. I bought this in my BX, and I have been loving it ever since. So it is a Stella Rosa, and it's also made in Italy. So it's amazing. It's like the most cheapest bottle of like wine sparkler that actually tastes good. It doesn't really taste like super cheap or anything. So I've been loving that. So I'll be sipping on that, and I also will be snacking on my new favorite thing, which are the Uncrustables from Smucker's. They're like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which are probably for kids, but they're the most delicious thing ever. So anyways, let's get to the video. So if you guys see me snacking or sipping, that is it. So for new releases, if you are a makeup junkie and you want to know what's out there, Trend Moon is probably like the most popular like Instagram account to follow that keeps up to date on all the makeup. I do feel like it's just like an advertisement Instagram account. That's pretty much how I look at it. So these are just going to be a lot of the products that I've been keeping my eye on, but I am not going to buy because they're either out of my price range or I just really don't need it. And the absolute first thing that I want to go into is something that I think is so beautiful, but it's also kind of odd because it reminds me of another brand, and it is the Bobbi Brown Holiday Collection, the Bobbi Brown Luxe Gem Eyeshadow Palette. The palette is so beautiful. The colors are very beautiful. I love jewel tone colors, so it is pretty jewel tone and also neutral at the same time. It's a beautiful palette. I'm going to put pictures of it right here. It's an absolute gorgeous palette, but it reminds me so much of the Linda, I think her name is Linda Hirschberg. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, but I'll leave her palette right here and her name right here, and I'll leave the Bobbi Brown palette right here. The palettes are absolutely similar in terms of how they look. And I don't know if Bobbi Brown is copying Linda. I feel like it will probably be Bobbi Brown is copying her palette, or maybe they use the same manufacturer. I don't know. But either way, they're similar in prices, and this palette retails for $75. The palette is pretty. I have never been into Bobbi Brown like color products. They do make really awesome concealers, which I love. The Bobbi Brown concealer is my favorite. But I won't be buying this palette because it's really out of my price range, one, and two, I feel like it's something that I would not be using a lot of. But I just find it so funny how similar the palettes, in terms of how they look in actual pan, how similar they look. And I'm not sure if I'm the only one who picked up on that, but it's very similar, and it's going to be a pass for me because I don't need it. Next up is a palette that I have been eyeing. Like, I really have been eyeing it, and I'm going to go on the Dominique Cosmetics Instagram page, and it is the Dominique Cosmetics Celestial Storm. I think that's how you pronounce. I think that's what the palette's called. The Celestial Storm palette. I'm going to put it right here. The palette, the colors are very beautiful. They're so pretty. Like, that's sickening matte orange color is so pretty, and the browns are pretty. But the more I look at the palette and the more I keep looking at the palette, the more I realize I don't really need the palette. Not only that, I decided to purchase the Artist Couture, the not Manny Hemingway, what's his name? Oh God, Angel Marino Mac Daddy palette. I decided to purchase the Artist Couture palette, and these are pretty much it's a similar palette, but it's more of a condensed version of all the colors that I actually like from Dominique Cosmetic into a smaller, more compact palette. So this palette retails for $28, and I believe Dominique Cosmetic palette retails for $45. So obviously it's the Dominique Cosmetic is more money, but you're getting more shadows. But the colors that I wasn't really a fan of in the Dominique Cosmetics is the blue and the shimmery purple. I just don't like how it comes out on camera. But these colors to me are just so fabulous. They're so beautiful, and I will continue to use them because I absolutely love this palette so much. So that's pretty much one of the reasons why I will not be buying this palette. I loved it. I loved how it looked from when it first came out, but I don't need it. And I feel like even if I was to buy it, I would probably only buy it for the matte orange and matte brownie colors. That's about it. But this one is just so much more compact and so much nicer to me. The colors in here are just something that I will use the most of, and I would prefer to buy this one than to buy the Dominique Cosmetic palette, even though I think the palettes are beautiful. However, I do want to try her lippies. I do think they're a little bit pricey for me. I feel like even though there is a sale going on for 25% off, I don't know if I want to buy it yet because I have so many lippies that I really don't need anymore. But the colors are so pretty. Love it, love it, love it. Now I'm going to talk about two celebrity makeup companies, or two celebrities that decided to come up with makeup lately. The first one is Victoria Beckham. Now, I personally love Victoria Beckham. I love her style. I love how clean and simple and elegant her stuff is. If I had the money, I'd probably be purchasing her clothing because I do love how professional and how clean and simple and minimal her clothing line is. Let me take a sip of wine because I feel like I've been talking too much. Oh, it's so good. I love this. I love this wine. I do love how clean and simple her makeup line is. I'll pop the pictures up here. The shadow palettes. Now, the eyeshadow palettes, they're pretty expensive. One retails for $56, I believe. And you're getting about 1, 2, 3, 4 colors in it. The colors in the eyeshadow palette aren't necessarily anything that I need. I have all these colors in other palettes that I could probably find dupes for. The blue I'm not really interested in, even though I do love blue eyeshadows. And the matte neutrals aren't something that I would reach for because I feel like it just wouldn't show up on my skin tone. But that Brick Ready palette is very beautiful, and if I was to buy it, that would be the one I would pick. However, the price for the palette is just outside of my price range. It's outside of my price range. And I've actually decided, I've come to the realization, and this is after me considering like trying to buy Pat McGrath palettes and stuff like that. I've come to the realization that everybody has a max of what they would spend on a product, and my max when it comes to makeup products is $50. I will not buy any makeup, no makeup at all, that's over $50. If it's one item and it costs over $50, I just cannot buy it because I feel like it's just out of my budget and it's out of my price range. It's not that I cannot afford it, because I can, but for me, I feel like any makeup item, any singular makeup item that I'm going to purchase, if it's over $50, it's just too much money for me, and I just will not be purchasing it. So this palette costs $56 out of my budget, won't be purchasing it. And it's also colors that I do not need. But I do absolutely adore the packaging of the palette. It's very beautiful. I love it. And I also love the little shimmer pots that she has. That blue shimmer pot is beautiful. I absolutely love the shimmer pots. So I was considering buying the shimmer pots, and I was also considering buying the eyeliners because I do want a nice black sooty kind of eyeliner, and from the videos and from the promos, I feel like I would get that with it. So I was considering buying it, but I really don't need it at all. so I don't need it. But the one color the shimmer pot that I was really considering buying, I believe it was like the onyx black color with the specks of gold, the specks of silver in it, and also the blue color with, I just thought those were beautiful. Then I realized that there's no need for me to buy it because I have something similar from another palette, and that's from the Katie times Desi Friendcation palette. Now, these top two colors are pretty much the exact same. They're pretty much dupes for the color pots. They obviously, it's not going to be the same, but to me the colors in here and here is pretty much what I would be getting from the shimmer pots anyways. So instead of me spending $36 for a little tiny pot that's probably going to dry out in a couple months because I probably wouldn't be using it that often, I will just stick with my Friendcation palette and just that and go with that. So I was really excited, and I love the packaging, and I love the fact that it is clean beauty, but I just can't, it's just out of my price range and I won't be doing it. So the next brand of makeup that I want to talk about is the Lady Gaga House Laboratories makeup. Now in July, I believe it was in July when Amazon had their Prime Day, you were able to have first access to the makeup and be able to purchase some of the makeup. And I was excited to see what the makeup was gonna be like. And then when I went on the website to order some of the makeup, which it was somewhat affordable compared to other celebrity makeup brands, compared to Victoria Beckham. The price range were somewhat affordable. I want to say they range from like $15 to $20 something, even a little bit more. I was expecting a little bit more from the colors and the pigments, but everything just seemed so glittery to me. And I guess I should have expected that because when I think of Lady Gaga, she's very out there. She's very outlandish, I would say. But I just was not feeling any of the makeup at all. It just looked very kiddie. For me, personally, it just looked very kiddie. The eyeliners are nice, but everything is just shimmery, and it's also shimmery colors that I would not wear. If I'm gonna wear a shimmer color of any kind of makeup, it has to look somewhat like what's on my face, on my eyes right now, or anything that looks in like this. And these are what I look for when it comes to like shimmery jewel tone colors. Everything is just like, it's just not, I'm not feeling it at all. And I'm not like a glitter lover at all. Like I don't like makeup with a lot of glitter, and a lot of glosses seem like they had a lot of glitter, and it wasn't anything that I was interested in. I feel like if I was supposed to purchase anything from these, this whole entire collection, it would probably be the eyeliner, and that's it. So yeah, I was not a fan. I'm not a fan at all, and I definitely won't be buying anything unless she came up with something spectacular. So I'm not a fan, won't be buying anything from it. Another brand that I probably won't be purchasing anything from is the Fenty Beauty Holiday Release Collection. Now, I love Fenty Beauty. Like, their foundations I love. The concealers not so much, but the highlighters are nice. I love Fenty Beauty. However, I feel like they missed the mark, at least for me personally. They missed the mark when it comes to their holiday collection. Everything is always icy and iced out and like snowdroppy, and I'm just not a fan at all. Like, I am not a fan at all. This Diamond Bomb thing that retails for $38, I'm not a fan of. The Liquid Diamond Bomb like thing, I'm not a fan of at all. It's just not something that I want on my skin tone. When it comes to highlighters, I like stuff that is either bronzy, coppery, or somewhat pinky. I'm not a fan of anything that looks icy or like freaking snowdrops on my face. Like, I don't want that on my face at all, and I will not be buying it I just won't be buying it. And I always find that I feel like she always missed the mark when it comes to her holiday collection. I personally am just not a fan of it, and I will not be buying it. The next thing I won't be purchasing at all is from Kat Von D, and it is the Lolita Pura Vida palette. I'm just reading off what it says on Trend Mood. Now, I like some stuff from Kat Von D. I don't really like a lot of her products because I feel like sometimes, like especially the foundation, it's just a little too heavy for me. The eyeshadows, she makes really great eyeshadow palettes. I don't own any of them, but I do own like her lip products because I think she make really great lippies. However, so the name Lolita was like one of her popular liquid lipsticks that she came out with like a couple years ago, and it was a phenomenon. I think it's like one of her most selling product, and I wish she would kind of like retire the name, or at least be a little bit more creative with the palette. So upon looking at the palette on Trendmood, it just looked like a basic neutral kind of palette. But then when I saw the swatches of it, I was just like, okay, the palette looks very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. However, I am just not a fan. Like, I kind of am at the stage where I'm probably a little bit tired of neutral palettes. I don't need anything that's super colorful, but I also feel like if I'm going to buy a palette, it needs to be something that I want to reach for every day, and this is just not something I would want to reach for every day, so I would not be buying this at all. Even though I do think the colors are pretty, I'm just not here for it. And the next thing that I probably will not be buying, and I'm like literally just scrolling through Trendmood, is the Hey guys, so I had to pause the video to clarify some things. I didn't realize that Lorac and Lorac are two totally cosmetic companies, and that's why I was a little bit confused about the price point when it comes to pounds and dollars. So Lorac is the UK-based company, which is what I'm talking about now. That's the massive large palette. And Lorac is a California-based company, which is the one that I'm used to. And for some weird reason, I thought it was the same company. So that's why I was a little bit confused. So anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. Bye. The Lorac palette. So Lorac came out with a new palette. I'm not sure if it says $29 or $24 or 24 pounds. But on Trendmood, it's saying that it's retailing for £24.99 pounds, which doesn't make sense because I always thought that Lorac was a California-based brand. I didn't know it was a British-based brand, so I'm a little confused about that. Now, the colors for the palette looks very pretty. You can see it right here. The colors for the palette look very pretty. However, I am not a fan of any of those massive palettes anymore. That's why I don't own any of those Morphe palettes, and all the big palettes that I had that were from BH Cosmetics or from like Coastal Scents, I kind of gave to my sisters because I don't really care for those palettes. I need my palette to look nice and compact. Like the largest palette I'm gonna buy is gonna be something like this. I don't need this big palette at all whatsoever. Now, the colors I will say are very, very warm. It's very beautiful. It's so pretty, but I just don't need it and I don't care for it and I won't be buying it. And in continuing with the whole large palette situation, I'm going to mention ABH's Volume 1, 2, and 3 Norvina palette. I'm not interested in any of them. Now, number one, I wasn't interested in because Volume 1, I wasn't interested in it because I felt like it was very primary colorish. It was a lot of yellow, a lot of blues, a lot of like reds. It was just very primary and the color schemes was all over the place. I feel like if you're a person who loved to play with color, you would love that. But for me personally, was not interested in it. Now, Volume 2 is more on the cooler side. It's a lot of purples, it's a lot of pinks, it's a lot of blues, and I'm still not interested in it because these are shadows that I do not wear at all. But Volume 3, I am more interested in Volume 3, but I won't be buying it because I know I won't be reaching for it at all. Because I'm not one of those people who like to experiment with 50 million different like shades at all. I like my jewel tones and that's it. But Volume 3 looks very pretty. It's very autumny. Like the packaging is autumny. The visuals that she sent out was autumny. I actually love the visuals so much. For that palette that I used it, I actually used the visuals as my screensaver because I just thought it was just the prettiest thing. However, I don't need the palette and I will not be buying it at all because I just don't like any of those I don't like those large palettes. I just don't like those large palettes. Now I am going to talk about this new release that I am not interested in, and it's the Kylie Times Balmain collection. Now, if any of you guys who don't know, Balmain is I believe it's either a French It's either French or Italian designer house. They make really awesome products. The designer name Olivier, I believe his name is Olivier. He makes the most amazing clothing that I wish I had the money to purchase. The jackets are very structured and very feminine and very powerful. They're very dominant and very almost marching band-esque kind of clothing, which I don't mind because I think it's just fun. They remind me a lot of like Michael Jackson when he did the Super Bowl, I think in 1998, I believe, when he came out in that like super like dope jacket. That is what Balmain is to me. So when they decided to partner up with Kylie Jenner, I kind of was expecting a little bit more, because if you look at all the stuff that Balmain designed, everything is very jewel tone, very rich, beautiful blues, cobalt blues, nice vibrant hunter greens, nice vibrant like yellows, and this is what they decided to create with. It looks very kitty, it looks like kitty makeup, it looks very childish, and I'm just not here for it at all. In fact, there are very few Kylie Cosmetics stuff that I'm interested in. I am interested in trying her lips products, but when it comes to her eyeshadows, I'm never intrigued by it because the colors never speak to me. And I also feel like when it comes to Kylie Jenner Cosmetics, I feel like she speaks to a younger audience, and that's what this looks like. So I am not intrigued, won't be buying it, just not intrigued. And I think I'm going to mention one more thing that I am interested in, but I won't be buying it, and I just think it's just the most beautiful thing, and it is the Charlotte Tilbury Holiday 2019 collection. These are colors that I would wear every single day. The palette is beautiful. The palette is beautiful, but again, it is outside of my price range. Now, the palette retails for $53. You're paying $53 for 4 eyeshadows. 4 eyeshadows. Now, I know Charlotte Tilbury is like a super famous makeup artist, but $53 for 4 eyeshadows is just a lot of money, and I'm just gonna pass on that. And I also wanted to mention the Pat McGraw mini palettes and also the Pat McGraw large palettes. Now, like I mentioned before, I've come to realize that my makeup limit when it comes to price point is $50. Anything that costs over $50, I'm not gonna buy it. And the palette, the little 4 quads that she has, it is retailed for $60. The 4 palette quad retails for $65, which to me, that's a little pricey. I feel like if you're gonna buy her eyeshadows, you might as well just get the big one. Or the one that I'm interested in purchasing is the little minis for $28. Even though I feel like the packaging isn't that great, I still want to try the eyeshadows out, and that is within my budget. So I will be making a purchase on that, and I also want to try her glosses. But this palette is just way too expensive for 4 eyeshadows. And also the large palette that she has for $125, a new one. The colors are very beautiful, but I feel like I would not be getting a lot of use out of it because all the colors in there aren't something that I will be using or wearing. And it is definitely out of my price range, so I will not be buying that at all. So I think those are all the makeup that I want to talk about. Those are all the makeup that was intriguing to me when I saw them on Trend Mood. Those are all the makeup that have made me go, ooh, I want to buy this, but I won't buy it because I have other stuff. So that is it. That is my video. I hope you guys enjoy this. I will be making this a 2-week, like a bi-weekly check-in, because there's so many new releases out there, like ColourPop release. ColourPop is like a running joke to me right now when it comes to like makeup releases, because they release a makeup palette like every single week. It's ridiculous. They release something like every single day. I just can't keep up. So I didn't feel the need to mention ColourPop because I just have no interest in any of their products anymore at all. And that's just facts. But everything else that I mentioned just made me go, ooh, I really want this. And I think the one thing I'm personally struggling with is the Victoria Beckham shadow pats and the liners, because I want to try it so much. But I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy it. So that's that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all later. Bye guys.